Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Education, SOE, Master's Degree Programs, Master of Arts, Distance Education, MAID, First Year, MDE-413 Learner Support Systems and Services, Block-1 Learner Support, an Introduction. Unit 1, Learner Support, a Systems Approach.
1.0 Introduction. You are a student of Open and Distance Learning System, ODLS. Prior to joining the program as well as during the course of studies, many kinds of queries might have been raised by yourself or your fellow classmates regarding ODLS. Such probable queries are listed below. Is the specific course of ODL recognized by concerned professional body like UGC or IT or NCTE or Medical Council of India or Bar Council of India? Whether the degree obtained by ODLS gets international recognition. Is the ODL program equivalent to the degree conferred by a state or central university in India? Can I be eligible to get government job after obtaining a degree in any open university? What kinds of combination are available for a particular degree program offered by ODL? Do I submit migration certificate to register in a ODL degree program? How many years are required to complete ODL degree program? Is it not enough to study only textbooks to appear in ODL program examination? Is it not a formality to submit assignments? Shall I contact any recognized expert for preparing a good assignment? Who will guide me to write my project? What shall I do as my supervisor does not give me time to guide my project work? What shall I do as my school headmaster does not permit me to complete school-based practicals? What is the alternative for me as I find it difficult to be in regular touch with my counselor because of long distance? What are the instructional facilities available for the visually impaired learners of ODLS? What can I do to submit online assignments when because of electricity problems the network does not work? Can I get alternative study guides if the language of study material is very difficult? Is it compulsory to attend contact classes? In case I cannot attend contact classes, what are the alternative modes of counseling? What are the alternative sources of procuring such books if the suggested reading materials are not available in market? How can I conduct practicals being a distance education? Student. The number of such queries can be many depending on varied situations. Appropriate answers to such queries must be given by an ODL institution to its students promptly. An efficient ODLS makes systematic attempt to take care of different problems and queries of students. Provisions for organized services made by ODLS in this regard is called Learner Support Services, LSS. On your part, it is essential to be clear about the concept, nature and theoretical background of LSS. In this unit you will be introduced to the concept of LSS, its interrelationship with other elements of ODLS, theoretical background of LSS and factors affecting the nature of SSS. 1.1 Learning Outcomes. After going through this unit you will be able to analyze different components of ODLS with special reference to LSS. Explain the significance of LSS. Identify interrelationship between learners, course material, media and technology, delivery and evaluation with LSS. Explain theoretical background of LSS, and recognize the factors responsible for nature and functioning of LSS. 1.2 Open and Distance Learning System. As a student of ODL system you are aware of its different components. ODLS is understood as provision of learning opportunities and support by distance education institution to a distance learner through print-based materials, methods, activities, media and technologies for achievement of curricular aims and objectives. This statement leads us to identify 6 major elements of ODLS, such as distance learner, print-based study materials, media and technology-based instruction, delivery system, evaluation and Learner Support System. The learner in ODLS occupies a key position. The ODL aims at facilitating learning and development of its students who are located at a distance from a university/or a school. The learner's social, cultural, ethnic, geographical, economic and psychological backgrounds reveal multiplicity as well as compositeness. Unlike traditional education, the target group of distance learners belongs to a varied age group: working class, housewives, economically scattered classes, remote geographical locations, varied caste groups and different nationalities. They are self-motivated learners. The major section of distance learners are the deprived ones who are capable enough to pursue studies but could not go through regular courses because of several reasons. You can very well link your experience with your classmates to understand the composition of background of learners. ODLS emphasizes on learners' autonomy in promotion of higher studies. It aims at dealing with every student as an autonomous learner. Moore, 1977, conceived the view of autonomous learner in terms of setting of learning objectives, choosing the methods of study and conducting self-evaluation. These ideas have been focused by Higgs, 1988. He states an autonomous learner is one who has the capabilities for learning in an independent manner, who can recognize the advantages of schooling by alternative modes of learning in the context of learning goals. From these statements, you can perceive your role in distance education as a significant and decisive stakeholder of ODLS. 1.2.1 Course Materials. The course materials are significant inputs of learning in distance education system. Usually in the Indian context, they are understood as print-based self-study materials. As a student of ODLS, you have noticed that the study materials are classified into different areas of study in the form of blocks and units. Each course has been recognized in the form of a block, and the curricular inputs concerning each block have been organized in different units in self-instructional form. Such materials are developed by subject experts and experienced persons, keeping in view distance learners' background, their needs and problems, course objectives or expected outcome of a course, resources available for organization of learning activities at the end of learner, institutional resources, etc. You have already noticed through your study materials that the study materials take care of each learning point in a sequence. The learning contents are well organized in the form of headings and subheadings. While organizing the content, it is kept in mind that the learner's experiences are linked with the presentation of content. It follows the principle of known to unknown, simple to complex, and concrete to abstract. You will notice that with a view to encourage self-learning, the course writer presents the matter in conversational style. Your study is facilitated by examples, anecdotes, charts, maps, diagrams, figures, etc. Many issue-based problems are also raised to encourage your reflections on the matter. Moreover, you will notice that a number of activities and exercises are incorporated to involve yourself actively in the learning process. A good quality course material also links itself with other kind of learning inputs provided by media and technology, fieldworks, group learning experiences, practicals, projects, etc. 1.2.2 Media and Technology. The emergence of information and communication technology, ICT, in education has contributed significantly towards ODLS. A distance learner gets ample opportunity to use ICT-based learning materials and media for achievement of learning objectives. There are institutions like radio and television universities in China which use media and technology-based learning inputs as the key component of ODLS. In the case of Indian situation, media and technology-based inputs like audio lessons, video lessons, radio broadcast, telecast, computer-assisted instructions, CAI, and networking-based instruction are used as additional inputs for course materials presented in the print-based form. As it is in practice, the major course inputs are presented in the self-instructional materials, SIM. Other forms of media and technology-based materials are added to the SIM-based learning activities. However, in the case of IGNOU and a number of state open universities, ICT-based learning has been encouraged through learning materials, interactive learning, virtual classrooms, online entrance tests, online examinations, online tutorials, e-library, etc. In some universities, learning packages are also being used exclusively for ODLS. 1.2.3 Delivery of academic programs. The ODLS reaches at the doorsteps of learners through appropriate strategic delivery of study materials, media and technology. The ODLS makes use of various means of delivery of learning inputs following suitable communication network. The systematic delivery mechanism is adopted keeping in view the requirement and schedule of operation of curricular programs. You may come across two kinds of delivery mechanism of academic programs, viz. One-way communication mode and two-way interactive mode. One-way communication covers postal delivery of SIM, handbooks, program guide, radio broadcast, telecast and dispatch of materials to distance learners, Gyanvani and Gyan Darshan program. Two-way communication includes telephonic conversation between learner and the tutor, phone and interactive live programs, one-way video, two-way audio conferencing, two-way audio, two-way video, conferencing, live telecast followed by group discussion, etc. The EduSat-based satellite telecast and broadcast programs have facilitated media-based delivery at a faster rate with total coverage of target group of ODLS. Moreover, networking involving interactive communication has provided ample scope for one-way and two-way communication network. The synchronized and asynchronized communication have widened the opportunity for distance learners to have interaction with experts, tutors, counselors, peers and many other sources of learning. The e-library concept has been popularized for efficient delivery of academic resources among distance learners. 1.2.4 Learner Support Services, LSS. As you know, the ODLS makes provision for support of distance learners in various ways. Since the ODLS is a unique system of education, appropriate mechanism is evolved to extend support to learners at different stages, viz. Pre-entry stage, during studies and post-study stage. In traditional campus-based education, the students avail informal opportunities to interact with people and get many academic queries answered by the teachers and peers. Unlike such situations, the distance learner needs special support from ODL institution at different stages of studies continuously. The ODL institution facilitates self-learning of learners through different means in well-organized forms. For instance, you get various facilities through study centers located in your region for answering many kinds of queries in the context of your academic progress. The academic counselors and tutors take care of your problems, assess your progress in studies, give feedback for further development and facilitate learning by suggesting different sources of learning. The learning support services motivate learners in studies and sustain their motivation at different stages of learning. 1.2.5 Evaluation. Learning and evaluation are integrated with each other. In ODLS, evaluation is considered as one of the essential elements of distance learning. In open distance learning situation, the self-evaluation is embedded with course material-based learning activities. Different kinds of evaluation inputs are incorporated in course materials to trigger self-learning. They are presented in the different forms. For instance, in-text questions are raised with a view to relate your previous experience with novel experience as a part of courseworks. You come across self-assessment questions while going through a unit. More reflective activity-based questions also form a part of self-learning exercise. You are also familiar with different kinds of assignments to be completed as a course requirement. Such assignments may be marked by the individual tutor or by the computer. The major purpose of such evaluation exercises is to assess your progress in studies and assist you to overcome various limitations. The semester end/course end evaluations are conducted in the form of terminal examinations. In the case of ODLS, opportunities are provided in the form of on-demand examination. In a nutshell, you will find different kinds of evaluation practices like self-evaluation, peer assessment, internet-based evaluation, computer-marked assessment and terminal examination as essential input of ODLS. 1.3 Learner Support Services as a subsystem of ODL system. You will be curious to be clear about the concept of Learner Support Services, LSS, its nature, types and scope in ODLS. People presume that dispatch of print-based lessons to distance learners will lead to their learning. It is of confusing nature. Since a learner in distance education situation is away from the teacher and peers, he may need appropriate support to continue his studies. Hence, ODLS promotes learner support services as a prime function. According to the experts like Colin Ramanujam, 1989, student support services cover a wide range of functions, starting from producing the learning materials and making them available to students to arranging contact programs and conducting examinations. In this case, the broader concept of learner support and distance education overlap each other. The pedagogy of ODLS is of such nature that it performs the role of learner facilitation through different kinds of communication and feedback given to the learner on his/her progress in studies. Hence, the broad meaning of learner support services means to facilitate learning and development of distance learner through different kinds of materials, methods, media and technology, taking into account the needs and problems of learners at different stages of studies. Many people in the area of distance education treat print-based course materials, audio-video lessons, assignments, contact programs and examination system as subcomponents of LSS. In other words, LSS function is treated as a hidden function of all such elements of ODLS. Such kind of explanation does not pinpoint LSS as a special function of ODLS. You must have clarity about LSS as a separate component of ODLS having interrelationship with other components to promote learning and development of distance learners. In this sense, learner support shall be treated as special kind of services organized by ODLS institution to enable distance learner to make optimum use of different learning and evaluation inputs provided through course materials, media and technology, expert guidance and continuous and comprehensive evaluation system. In this case, LSS is treated as a learner-centered facilitating function of ODLS which takes into account problems of distance learners at pre-entry stage, during the course of studies and at course completion stage. You may go through the related literature and come across the terms informing, advising, guiding, tutoring and counseling in the context of LSS. In specific terms, LSS bridges the gap of isolation and injects the touch of teacherhood to the distance learner. It helps in counseling, continuous assessment and facilitates the learning process adopted by the learner. Harichandan, 2010. This definition may help you to get clarity in the concept of LSS that as a whole LSS adds spirit to the structure built in ODLS for distance learners' learning processes. A. LSS enables the learner to sense the presence of teacher in teaching learning inputs provided by ODLS. B. LSS takes care of human interaction in the teaching learning process through various means. C. LSS promotes feedback mechanism through continuous assessment of distance learners' progress in studies. 1.3.1 Components of LSS. Different authors have classified LSS into different forms. Moreover, different institutions of ODL adopt different forms of LSS in their own perspective. Deshpande, 1995, classified LSS in two groups viz. Administrative support and academic support. Negi, 2003, classified LSS in four groups: administrative, counseling, library support and assignment evaluation. Satyanarayan, 2001, classified them as information support, guidance support, tutorial support, counseling support and library support. Harichandan, 2010, classified the broad concept of LSS into 6 areas. Primary support provided in printed study material. Audio-video program. Support through face-to-face interaction with teachers during contact programs. Counseling support. Library support. Assignment and feedback to learners. Different kinds of LSS offered by ODLS like IGNOU, reads as pre-entry awareness support, post-entry or during course academic support, post-course awareness programs. At Open School stage, the National Institute of Open Schooling, NIOS, classified various components of LSS adopted by it as pre-admission support, enrollment and registration, advice and counseling on selecting courses, ensuring timely availability of self-study print materials, personal contact programs, library services and provision of audio-video facilities, assignment evaluation and feedback to learners. Your exposure to diversified forms of LSS as presented above may help you to identify certain core components of LSS. We shall analyze some core areas of LSS viz. Academic support, administrative support, assessment and evaluation support in the following sections. 1.3.2 Academic Support Services. Very often academic support services are provided through tutors, counselors, mentors and distance education facilitators to solve academic problems of students. The distance learners face different kinds of problems concerning nature of learning through distance mode, learning experiences provided through different means. For instance, you may face a number of problems like how to proceed with studies through reading the materials, writing assignments and using multimedia input of learning. Is it enough to consult printed course materials to prepare assignments? What to do when I find it difficult to understand the concepts presented in the study materials? What can I do since the language of study material is not comprehensive? How can I adjust with my family engagements, office work and study schedule successfully? Who will help me in conducting practicals in my locality? How can I organize my study schedule systematically? And so on. Some such questions come under the purview of academic support services. In the Indian context, academic support services are further classified under 2 heads.
Tutorials and counseling. Tutorial support. The academic counselors/subject experts provide different kinds of academic support at the initial stage of studies, during the course of studies and towards the completion of studies. They provide tutorial support in the study centers, program centers as well as in the laboratories/workshops, the Sunday/holiday classes, extended contact programs, ECPs, summer/winter schools, etc. Besides, tutorials are also organized with help of local area networking through ICT. The tutorial function of academic counselors include the learners in the study of subject matter. IGNOU has highlighted following nature of tutorial services for its learners. Helping learners towards mastering of units of courses. Facilitating group learning through various methods. Monitoring academic progress of learners. Developing independence among learners through different activities. Assisting and monitoring practical-based activities. The tutorial functions of academic counselors as highlighted by Noisare stated as assessing the pre-entry stage background of learners, tutoring at the designated study centers, providing guidance to learners, facilitating in problem-solving sessions, facilitation by library studies, conducting practicals, facilitating learning with the help of audio-video programs. Additional service for learners with special needs of one sort or another like learning disability, geographical remoteness, prisoners etc. Counseling support. The counseling function includes advising and helping the learners in the study-related personal matters. The counseling support has following objectives: to give the learner ideas important to his success, to make use of available information about a student to solve his problems, To develop mutual understanding between the counselors and the learners. To help learner to work out a plan for solving his difficulties. To help the learner know himself better, his interests, abilities, aptitudes and opportunities. To encourage and develop special abilities and positive attitude among learners. To inspire successful endeavor towards attainment. To assist the learner in planning for educational and vocational fields. To sustain motivation of learners during the course. 1.3.3 Administrative Support Services. Several queries are invariably raised by students like the following. What are the criteria of admission to a specific program? Whether admission to a course takes place throughout the academic year? What is the meaning of credit system? What is networking? What are the boarding and lodging provisions for our stay during extended contact programs, ECPs? Such kind of queries are answered through Learner Support Services Division of ODLS. The administrative support to learners is possible through awareness program about ODLS, dissemination of information about the programs and courses, distribution of application forms by person or online, information about credit transfer scheme, registration of students by person or online, delivery of instructional materials by post or at study centers or online, conduct of tests and examinations, prior information regarding contact classes, making arrangement for practical experiments and other course-based activities, organization of the assessment of papers, communication of the progress of learners from time to time, provision for recording learners' grievances and attending to such grievances through proper mechanism, maintaining records of prospective candidates for enrollment, dealing with queries from present as well as past students, attending to the flow of learners program-wise on different occasions like pre-stages, initial level of studies, contact sessions, submission of assignments, practical reports, and projects, prior to examination, during examination, post-examination i.e., declaration of results, etc. Administrative support can be made available through several means like websites, information bulletins, program guides, handbooks, telephone network, online queries, postal queries, radio broadcast, television, mobile learning, teleconferencing and common resources available at regional centers and study centers. The principles adopted for efficient administrative support are publicity and advocacy, timely dissemination of information, availability of prospectus to get registered, supply of handbooks and program guides on time, delivery of study materials and media and technology-based programs, proper networking of institutions, internal and external, to give prompt response to queries, establishment of grievance redressal to address the problems and queries of students, ensuring proper coordination between different components of ODLS like course development and delivery, delivery of media and technology-based academic programs, study centers, evaluation division and learners. With a view to facilitate administrative support, it is not enough to disseminate information from institutional onto the learner's end. Many reputed ODL institutions have provision of guidance services in regional centers and study centers. Such provisions consist of a group of services to assist distance learners in securing the knowledge and skills needed in making adequate choices, plans and activities essential for studying in ODLS, etc. The course-related queries at different stages of learning are attended by guidance services. Guidance services are provided by a wide range of media, such as self-study materials, on-campus provision of telephone counseling, online queries, referral to local agencies, social advisor outreach work, local workshops, use of senior students as a resource. Guidance services of ODLS make provision for different kinds of learner support activities like self-analysis for the learners to know their own capabilities and what they are trying to achieve, guidance on whether these aims are achievable and how to proceed with these aims, information on various programs, development of skills to deal with entrance requirements, making appropriate preparation to proceed with courses, placement of products in prospective jobs, etc. 1.3.4 Evaluation Support Services. As presented above, evaluation inputs are integrated with learning process on a continuous basis. The process-based learner evaluation support is provided distinctly in the form of assessment of assignments and course end examinations. Feedbacks to learners are given for improvements in learning. Assessment of assignments and feedback to learners. This is a major function of academic counselors. As a part of academic support, they already give guidance on how to attend to different kinds of assignments incorporated as course requirements. They assess the learner's assignments to ensure learner performance in studies. They give grades and detailed comments to make learners aware of their progress in studies. The tutors give group feedbacks to learners during tutorial sessions. During group interaction sessions, they also highlight the quality assignments to motivate learners in improving assignment. The academic counselors not only guide practical, field works and projects but also give feedback to learners on different stages of such activities. In the case of professional courses, major weightage is given to tutor guidance and assessment of practicals, projects and different kinds of problem-solving activities. The academic counselors are also involved in conduct of examinations and valuation of answer sheets of students. On the basis of such experiences, the academic counselors facilitate learning activities during tutorials and counseling sessions. The computer-marked assignments also facilitate this process. Besides above kinds of evaluation support, special counseling is provided to motivate learners for preparing assignment, to help them identifying suitable resources for preparing assignments, the skill of writing short answer questions, skill of answering objective type questions and attempting long answer questions, etc. Moreover, in the case of ICT-based evaluation system, learner support is provided through ICT to prepare different kinds of assignments and evaluation practices. Maintenance of evaluation reports on individual students through ICT also helps learners as well as the institution to get comprehensive program of learner on studies. 1.4 Relationship between LSS and other components of ODL system. In the first section, you have read about different elements of ODLS. As per system's approach, different elements of ODLS are interrelated with each other and achieve the aims and objectives of the system. In the following subsection, we shall examine the interrelationship between different elements of ODLS with LSS. See Table 1.1. 1.4.1 Learners and LSS. The central focus of LSS is to facilitate learning on the basis of analysis of social psychological background of learners. For instance, learners from far-fetched locations, learning by disabled learners, working women, on-the-job learners, etc. require special support for learning and development. Their needs, motivation, expectations and abilities determine specific approaches of LSS. The students constitute groups on their own to help each other.
Table 1.1 The interrelationship between LSS and other components of ODLS. Look at the screen. The distance learners help each other to construct knowledge through experiential learning activities. On the other hand, information services, guidance, counseling services, cater to the need of learners and help them to develop learning skills, promote their study habits and sustain their motivation in studies. LSS also provides guidance to learners for future course of action and placement after course completion. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU. 1st April 2002 Course Materials and LSS. You will notice that course materials act as an element of LSS in a broader sense. Course materials comprise different styles of learning and learning exercises and activities to help learner to study independently. Different kinds of self-assessment questions and reflective thinking activities act as learner support exercises. Different kinds of integrated activities, projects, practicals, media-based learning activities are suggested therein. The LSS act as a major facilitating source to strengthen course material-based learning by means of clarifying learners' doubts by simplifying explanations in learners' language, assisting in improving comprehension of learning materials and organization of course activities as highlighted in the course materials. On the other hand, the study centers organize practicals, assist in conducting field trips, provide guidance for projects and library support services in tune with the course materials. 1st April 2003 Media and Technology and LSS. Multimedia learning facilities are treated as integral part of instructional system. The radio broadcast programs through Gyanvani serve local specific needs of distance learners. Gyan Darshan programs enrich learning experiences through audio-video live demonstrations. The CAI packages and e-learning technology assist ODLS to a large extent. The LSS helps learners to avail such opportunity in study centers. The audio-video cassette-based lessons and downlinking facilities in study centers promote distance media-based support to the learners, the special group learners of professional programs, practical and project-based learning. Opportunities are accelerated through demonstrations of practical components, expert guidance through live telecast programs, skill-based exercise and learning packages. The library facilities are also provided in the study centers. 1st April 2004 Delivery of courses and LSS. Media and technology-based delivery system strengthens LSS in terms of providing information services, tutorials, counseling and resource support to ODLS. Radio broadcast, telecast, phone-in interactive program broadcast, teleconferencing, WWW networking encourage two-way interactions between learners and tutors and among learners. Advanced communication technologies and EduSat-based educational programs make virtual classroom a reality in LSS. The LSS also reciprocate delivery facilities through study centers, counselors' guidance in making best use of media and technology-based programs in the study centers. On many occasions teleconferencing-based interactive sessions are treated as one of the major components of extended contact programs and special counseling sessions. The opportunities of CAI and network-based support system are provided through study centers. 1st April 2005 Evaluation and LSS. Evaluation of learners' progress in studies and LSS are treated as two sides of the same coin. Guidance is given for preparation of different kinds of assignments to distance learners through tutorial sessions. After assessment of assignments, tutors and computerized feedbacks are given to individual learners. During counseling sessions, students interact with tutors on feedback given to them on assignments. The experience gained through counselors' involvement in examinations and checking the answer sheets help in course modifications. Moreover, study centers act as a major resource for conducting examinations. The academic counselors provide guidance to learners' progress in studies during the course of studies as well as after the completion of courses for better preparation of examinations. Post-examination guidance is provided for continuation with further studies and subsequent placement in appropriate jobs. 1.5 The theoretical framework of learning vis-à-vis learner support services. Learning in ODLS takes place through mediation of course materials, media and technology along with occasional interaction with tutors and counselors. Since the distance learners mostly remain in isolation, the self-instructional materials being integrated with support materials, different concepts need to be developed among learners. In this context, course design takes into account cognitive factors of learners along with provision of conducive external environment. Of late, this has been realized that since ODLS is learner-centered, his/her experience must be considered for providing opportunities in construction of knowledge. Learning theories categorized under the heads of different paradigms like behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism have made significant contributions towards building strategies of teaching learning of ODLS. Even though these theories have their own models of learning, all of them agree on provision of support to learners either in individualized conditions or in group situations. Let us take examples of these theories. 1. The contributions of B. F. Skinner, a leading behaviorist to programmed learning, highlighted relationship between stimulus and response and reinforcement. The implications can be seen in writing of self-instructional modules where the expert provides basic knowledge followed by practices and exercises. Such exercises are followed by reinforcement step by step. LSS derived its origin from behaviorist theory in the form of incorporation of stepwise presentations, learning activities, self-check exercises, and model answers given for self-feedback to learners. The cognitive theorists like J.S. Brunner insisted on learners' involvement in discovery of relationships between different factors contributing towards occurrence of events. It advocates autonomy of a learner. It is presumed that when the distance learner increasingly engages himself/herself in learning, it will lead to self-reward. In other words, the learner provides his/her own stimulation and in this way arouses his or her own curiosity. According to cognitive approach, the ODLS provides different support in the form of learning materials, experimental kits, source materials where the independent learner is engaged in different kinds of learning activities leading to concept learning. Different learning tasks and exercises are given to link learners' experience with new situations, identification of similarities and parallels, identification of dissimilarities, identification of major characteristics of the given concept, etc. The learner gets self-feedback by identifying the concept or discovering new ideas. The constructivist learning treats learner as an independent learner. It refers to a learning process where the learner is actively constructing both the knowledge and strategies used to acquire the knowledge. The learner constructs a new vision of reality from his own unique experiences. Further, he uses the self-acquired knowledge to deal with any new experience in that field. According to constructivist approach, the tutor's role is perceived as a facilitator of learning. The learning takes place individually or in group situations. Different kinds of reflective learning activities are incorporated in ODLS, where the learners get opportunities to explore the strategies of acquiring knowledge, problem solving, as well as interpretation and construction of knowledge. Different practitioners of ODLS have conceptualized the nature of LSS and its scope in ODLS. 1 May 2001, John Barth's view of human consideration. John Barth analyzed the contributions of behaviorists and cognitivists like B.F. Skinner, D.P. Ausubel, J. Brunner, Carl Roger, and R.M. Gagne. He emphasized that since the distance learner is missing the presence of teacher in the learning process, all possible efforts must be made to give human touch to the learning materials provided to the learner. He insisted on the provision of guided, independent, individualized instruction in distance education programs. The learning materials must be integrated with human touch in the presentation and provision of feedback opportunities to learners. The assignment system followed by tutors' comments can establish human touch to ODLS. 1 May 2002, Holmberg's views on LSS. Holmberg conceived distance education as the kind of education which covers the various forms of study at all levels which are not continuous, immediate supervision of tutors present with their students in lecture rooms on the same premises, but which, nevertheless, benefit from planning, guidance and tuition for tutorial organization. Holmberg insisted on guided didactic approach in presentation of study materials by which the course writer initiates dialogue with the reader on specific learning situations. Such presentation in dialogue form proceeds in a sequence to arrive at understanding a concept and its generalization. He called it guided didactic approach because the course writer plays the role of a teacher and leads the discussion in dialogue form in written course material. The second point Holmberg highlighted was the possibility of learner guidance and tutorial in ODLS. The distance learner may need guidance for study of materials. He may have academic problems which can be solved through occasional contacts with tutors in face-to-face situation. These ideas lead to integrate study of course materials with tutor guidance in study centers of distance education. 1 May 2003 David Seiwert's ideas on continuity on concern. David Seivert, former Director of Regional Academic Services of the UKOU, insisted on providing learners support to sustain his/her motivation in studies on continuous basis. He insisted on uniqueness of each student's support system in any distance teaching system. The inputs of student support system depends on the nature of instructional package, the delivery from the status of the organization and the socio-economic educational culture in which it operates. David Seivert highlighted the learner factor, course material and delivery factor, institutional factor and the contextuality determining the nature of learner's support system. According to David Seivert, the learner perspective in LSS can be linked with the needs for information from and contact with the institution, peer group interaction and development of corporate identity, human contact with facilities, personal contact for feedback, point guidance activities and methods for development of skills. 1.6 Factors determining the nature and functions of learners' support services. The following factors determine LSS of any distance education institution. Learner's background, course requirement, course delivery needs. 1.6. 1. Learner's background. Much has been discussed about the learner factor concerning the provision of LSS. As you realize in distance education system, the learners remain away from the campus. You do not get opportunity to interact with teachers and fellow classmates as it happens in traditional courses. Learners remain in physical and intellectual isolation from the teaching institutions, teachers and fellow students. This often leads to frustration and eventual dropout. Learners of varied age groups, occupational backgrounds, scattered locations, secluded background, low motivation and low confidence level etc. need special attention. The structure of course material alone may not satisfy individual learner needs and local specific demands. The family, peers, locality and social attitudes may often be biased against distance education in favor of conventional mode, leading to depression and eventually forcing the learner to drop out. Sometimes learners lack confidence in themselves and in their studies. Some learners lack sufficient funds to meet educational cost, in addition to their personal family expenses. Lack of opportunity to compare their performance with fellow students, hence they remain in confusion. Socially and culturally deprived sections of learners find it difficult to link their expenses with learning experience provided by course materials. The special category of learners in remand homes, prisons and other isolated locations face unique problems in a non-academic environment. Physically impaired learners find it difficult to get optimum benefit of standardized course materials. As a whole, learners' problems of social, psychological and personal type affect their studies through distance mode. LSS is designed taking into consideration such factors and provides support to different groups of distance learners. 1st June 2002 Nature of Instructional Strategy and Delivery Mode. ODLS incorporates varied nature of instructional inputs, processes, evaluation and feedback mechanism. As a learner you may find such experiences novel dealing with the learning strategies. Going through such kinds of instructional components require specific learning skills, to use such materials and methods and involvement in instructional process with perseverance. On many occasions timely delivery of materials do not take place. Coordination between print-based study materials and ICT-based learning inputs get estranged. Lack of synchronization of media production and its delivery also affect learners' studies adversely. Whether a learner can depend solely on any specific material, S, or she is required to choose suitable material, S, modes, S, create problems in media and material selection in ODLS. Moreover, non-availability of technology and the user facility at learners' end stand as a major barrier in pursuing studies. The identification of appropriate academic counselors, course coordinators, their proficiency in dealing with distance learners and course-specific needs also contribute significantly towards smooth function of LSS. Distance learner finds it difficult to locate academic resources at their workplace locality, identifying local level course supervisors, tutors, facilitators, and mentors to conduct practicals and projects, locating laboratories and work seats for conducting practicals, availing equipment, chemicals, and meeting laboratory-based expenses are also counted as significant course-related problems. Many other curricular experiences involving field works, simulated exercises, role-playing, case studies, school hospital, industry judicial court-based experiences, community services, games and sports, aesthetic experiences and personal development activities are not accommodated properly in ODLS. Lack of coordination and networking of institutions at intra-department level and inter-institution level also determine the success of ODLS. An ideal institution of ODLS takes care of such problems through LSS. 1st June 2003 Course-related factors. Courses offered in ODL can be of general nature as well as professional nature. Major emphasis of general or liberal courses highlight theory-based disciplinary programs in social sciences, humanities and science branches. There can be general courses of interdisciplinary nature with emphasis on social, human, environmental problems and development orientation. In general courses emphasis is laid on development of knowledge, attitude formation and skill acquisition in a sequence. The professional courses deal with skills related to a profession, theoretical knowledge concerning it and professional ethics. The fields like medicine, engineering, management and teacher education come under such categories. The curricular experiences for general courses differ from that of professional courses. While general courses lead to interaction-based experience, value formation, creation of novel ideas, and refinement of thoughts, the LSS provided to general courses take into account such considerations. The professional courses are controlled by the guidelines and norms set by specific bodies. The course requirement gives such stress on practicals, internships, field experiences, projects, situation-specific case studies and skill-based exercises under continuous guidance of experts. Hence, LSS take care of such experiences in program centers or special study centers with ample scope for professional development of distance learners. 1.7 Summary. So far, you have been introduced to the fundamentals of LSS in the framework of ODL as system. How different nature of questions raised by students are taken care by ODL have been explained in terms of academic, administrative and assessment and evaluation services. You also noticed the interrelationship between different components of ODLS with LSS in a system perspective. Moreover, it has also been highlighted that even though different learning theories have different perspectives, learner support in or other way is given prime importance by all of them. The theoretical background of LSS and factors influencing LSS have been well explained with the perspective of enhancement of provision for course-specific learning experiences to distance learners. Such understanding is going to form a base for you to take the course on LSS with more clarity. Thank you. Subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we will see you with the next chapter.